What if I told you that the most expensive part of a planted aquarium, the specialized substrate, is actually the one thing that you might not need? For years, we've been told that to grow a lush green underwater garden, we need layers of soil, tap sand, or expensive clay pebbles. We're told that aquarium waste, that brown gunk called detritus, is a ticking time bomb that'll crash your nitrates or even choke out your plants. Well, I'm the first person to actually take that aquarium waste and send it to a professional agricultural lab for full analysis. And what I found isn't just surprising, it completely changes how we think about aquascaping. Today, I'm going to show you why I've moved away from traditional substrates and how I'm growing all the plants in bare bottom tanks using nothing but the natural biology of the aquarium. This is the simplest, most effective method I've found in years of fish keeping, and it works for everyone from the absolute beginner to the professional breeder. I actually stumbled into this by accident. I had a bunch of plant cuttings that I was planning to trade, and I just needed a place to store them for a few days. The only space that I had was a bare bottom quarantine tank. Now, normally, you don't put plants in a quarantine tank, but I just wanted to keep them alive. I used some basic plant weights and even superglued a few stems to small pebbles and pieces of biomedia. The goal was simple: to keep them weighed down so that they grew straight up towards the light, instead of becoming a tangled, floating mess. Well, that trade deal fell through, and a few days turned into a few weeks, and those weeks turned into months, and I noticed something incredible. The plants weren't just staying alive, they were exploding with growth. There was no soil, no substrate, no root tabs, no liquid fertilizers. It was just water, a few snails, some shrimp, and the waste that they all produced. I started looking for information online just to see if anyone else was doing this, and I found almost nothing. Most expert videos claim detritus is either inert or dangerous, but I knew better because I saw my plants thriving. I decided to stop guessing and get the facts. I collected the detritus from my home aquariums, tanks with nanofish, shrimp, and snails, and sent it to a lab for professional soil and wastewater analysis. The results were a revelation. The numbers don't lie. We're talking a nitrogen level of 2.57%. It's got phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium. It even has a massive amount of iron, 2,440 milligrams per kilogram. It has every single macro and micronutrient that a plant would need to build its tissue up and stay vibrant. In the hobby, people often say you have to vacuum this stuff out or it'll ruin your water quality. But then again, those same people take their water change water and use it to grow massive, healthy houseplants. It's a total contradiction. My lab test proves that aquarium waste is a high-value organic fertilizer. In a traditional tank, this waste gets trapped under the gravel where it can go anaerobic or become hard to reach. In my method, we're utilizing passive transport of nutrients. Aquarium plants are essentially one big root. They don't have to waste energy transporting nutrients from a deep root system up to a leaf. They can pull those nutrients directly from the water column and the waste settling around them. This is the most effective way for a plant to grow. I want to show you the two ways that I'm applying this. I call these minimalist aquascapes. This first tank is what I would call a collector's minimalist aquascape. It features a variety of different plant species, all individually weighed down. It looks like a high-tech aquascape, but there's no substrate. This second tank goes even further into minimalism. It's about 2/3 filled with long flowing Vallisneria on one side, leaving a clean open space on the other. One of the beauties of this system is the maintenance. In a regular planted tank, you can only clean the areas where there's no plants. You can't vacuum under a dense forest of stems without uprooting everything or damaging your plants. In my aquariums, if I want to remove excess waste, I can literally just slide these plants over or lift them up and vacuum underneath them. Over time, the roots form a dense, interconnected mat that holds the plants down naturally, but they still remain mobile. If you're worried about the sterile look of a bare bottom tank, here's a pro tip. Paint the outside of the glass black on the bottom. It eliminates the glare and reflections usually associated with bare bottom tanks, and it gives it a deep, professional look that makes the greens and reds of the plants really pop. Aquascaping in the United States is growing, but it has a very high turnover rate. People get frustrated because their high-tech setup with expensive soil gets messy or the soil exhausts its nutrients after a year and the plants start dying or they start accumulating algae. Luckily, there's not a single plant in this hobby that requires a specialized substrate to thrive. By removing the substrate, you remove the mess, the cost, and the complexity. This is a perfect entry point for a beginner. It's also a dream for breeders. If you're raising shrimp or fish to sell, you know how hard it is to catch them in a heavily planted tank with substrate. With my method, you just lift the plants out, catch your fish or your shrimp, and put the plants back in. No cloudy water and no ruined scape. Whether you want to keep it simple forever or eventually move to a substrate tank, starting this way teaches you how the plants actually eat. It proves the waste we've been removing and taught to fear is actually the engine that drives a healthy ecosystem. Nature is incredibly efficient. We don't need to overcomplicate her with bags of expensive dirt and chemical schedules. We just need to let the fish, the snails, and the plants do what they've been doing for millions of years. If you want to see a full breakdown of this lab report or see how I weigh these plants down without damaging the stems, check out the playlist on my channel.